I took the night shift because nobody else wanted it. That was the honest reason. I had just started as a cashier at a 24/7 convenience store, one of those bright, clean boxes of light that looks safe from the outside, even at 3 a.m. The manager told me night shift was quiet and easy, which is what people say when they want you to accept the hours without asking why the last person quit. My job was simple: scan items, restock shelves, mop spills, keep the coffee machine alive, and make sure nobody stole anything when the store got sleepy. There was one section the manager cared about more than anything: the bento fridge. Microwavable meals, neatly stacked, always selling out. Taxi drivers, college kids, security guards from nearby buildings. Everyone came in late, half dead, and bought food like it was medicine. I learned that routine fast. What I didn't expect was to learn the routine of a specific customer. She showed up on my third night. Around 2 in the morning, the door chimed, and she stepped in like she'd done it 100 times. Pretty, put together, the kind of person who looked wrong under fluorescent lighting because she deserved sunlight and real air. She didn't browse. She walked straight to the bento fridge, opened it, and picked out one box like she already knew which one she wanted. Then she grabbed a drink from the cooler, same brand every time, and walked to the counter. Polite smile, quick payment, no small talk. She left like she was in a hurry to get back to somewhere private. The older cashier on the earlier shift noticed me watching her and smirked. "Regular," he said. "Always the same. Don't bother her." I didn't bother her. I just remembered her. Because on night shift, routine becomes your anchor. You start measuring time by who walks through your door. She came almost every night after that. Same hour, same bento, same drink. Sometimes she looked tired. Sometimes she looked like she'd been crying and fixed her face in the reflection of the freezer door before coming to the counter. But she never spoke more than necessary. Always paid, always left. Then one week, she stopped coming. At first, I didn't think anything of it. People disappear from routines all the time. They change jobs, they break up, they move, they get sick. Life happens. But after a few days, I started hearing it from other customers. A taxi driver came in, bought cigarettes and coffee, then glanced around like he expected to see someone. "Haven't seen that girl lately," he said casually. "What girl?" I asked. He made a vague gesture toward the bento fridge. "The pretty one. Always buys the same thing." I shrugged. Maybe she stopped. He frowned like that answer didn't sit right, then paid and left. After that it came up again, not dramatically, just little comments that hung in the air too long. "Where's your bento girl?" "Still haven't seen her, huh?" The manager overheard once and waved it off. "People come and go," he said, but his tone wasn't confident. It was the tone of someone who didn't want to invite questions. That was when the first strange thing happened. A fresh delivery arrived after midnight. Still cold, still tight-sealed, labels clean, dates fine. I stocked everything carefully, rotated the older bentos to the front like I was trained to do. An hour later, when I opened the bento fridge to restock a missing row, the smell hit me. Sour, sharp like fermented milk, like rotten rice that's been left in heat. I leaned back, immediately annoyed. Food spoilage meant paperwork. It meant calling the supplier. It meant my manager blaming me for leaving the door open too long. I checked the fridge temperature display. Normal. I pulled out the bento closest to the smell. The packaging looked perfect. No puncture, no swelling. I held it near my face and almost gagged. It smelled like it had been sitting in the sun for days. I threw it into the trash, wiped down the shelf, sprayed disinfectant, and told myself the fridge had a weak spot. The next night it happened again. Fresh delivery, cold stock, all dates fine. Then one bento turned sour, like it aged in minutes. Only one. Not the whole fridge, not the drinks, not the sandwiches. Just one bento. Always one. It started to feel personal, like the store was choosing which item to ruin. By the third time it happened, I was irritated enough to stop blaming the fridge and start blaming people. Someone tampering, someone messing around. Maybe a customer opened one and put it back. So I watched the bento aisle harder. Around 2:30 the store went quiet, that dead hour between the last drunk and the first early worker. The fluorescent lights buzzed. The fridge hum became the loudest thing in the room. I was behind the counter scrolling through restock lists, When the motion sensor near the bento aisle clicked and the aisle light brightened slightly, I looked up automatically, expecting a customer. The door hadn't chimed, no footsteps, no shifting bags. The entrance glass reflected only empty street. But in the bento aisle, someone was there. At first I thought it was a shadow trick, a reflection, my eyes adjusting. Then I saw the shape clearly, a woman crouched near the fridge, close enough that her face was almost pressed to the glass. My throat tightened because I recognized her instantly. It was the regular, the pretty woman who always bought the same meal. Except now she looked wrong. Her skin was too pale, gray under the store lighting. Her hair hung in strands that looked damp, even though it wasn't raining outside. Her shoulders were hunched, tense, as if she was trying to make herself smaller. And her mouth was moving, fast, frantic, chewing and swallowing like she was starving, like she was trying to eat before someone could take the food away. But she wasn't holding anything. The bento fridge door was closed. Her hands were empty. She was eating the air, her jaw working like an animal with nothing in its mouth. I stood up slowly behind the counter, my knees tight, my palms sweating. A cold thought slid through me. There is no reason she should be here. I wanted to call out her name even though I didn't know it. I wanted to say, "Ma'am, are you okay?" But my voice wouldn't come. The sound that did come was tiny, my own breath catching in my throat. Her chewing stopped, not gradually, instantly, like someone hit pause. She didn't turn fully, she just tilted her head slightly, as if she'd heard me exist, and for half a second, I could see her profile. The line of her cheek looked hollow, her lips were pale, her eyes, when they flicked toward the counter, looked unfocused, like she wasn't looking at me so much as through me. Then the light in the aisle flickered, not the whole store, just that aisle, and she was gone. No footstep, no movement toward the door, no sound. 1 second, crouched and chewing, next second, empty aisle and cold glass. I stood there, staring, waiting for my brain to correct itself. It didn't. The fridge hum sounded louder. The air felt colder. I forced myself to move. I walked to the bento fridge like my legs belonged to someone else. The bento closest to where she crouched was still sealed, still cold. The label still showed today's date. I opened the fridge door, and the sour stench hit me so hard it made my eyes water. Instant rot, like something had breathed decay into it. I pulled the bento out. It looked normal, but the smell was unmistakable. Spoiled, acidic, dead. I threw it away with shaking hands. Then, another one turned sour the next night. Then another. Always after the motion sensor triggered. Always after that crouching silhouette appeared. I started marking the boxes with a pen like a lunatic, tracking which ones spoiled. It didn't matter. The pattern stayed the same. The bentos nearest to her eating point would go bad immediately, like the fridge had been cursed in a precise circle. I checked everything like a normal person would. Temperature logs, normal. Door seal, fine. Delivery truck, cold chain intact. Supplier dates, correct. Filters cleaned, shelves sanitized. Nothing changed. The ghost didn't change either. She always came after 2. She always crouched near the bento fridge. She always chewed like she was trying to outrun hunger. And the worst part was that she didn't seem angry. She seemed desperate. After the 4th sighting, I finally told the senior cashier, the guy who worked the earlier nights and acted like nothing scared him. I expected laughter. He didn't laugh. His face tightened in a way that told me he already knew something. He leaned in and lowered his voice. "If you see her," he said, "don't talk first." I stared at him. "You've seen her?" He didn't answer directly. He just repeated it, slower. "Don't talk first. Don't offer food. Don't make it a conversation." "How am I supposed to?" "Just let it pass," he said, cutting me off. "You're new. Don't make it worse." That was all he gave me. A rule without an explanation. A warning without context. 2 nights later, it got worse. I was restocking near the counter when the motion sensor clicked again. The aisle light brightened and my stomach dropped before I even looked. She was there, but closer to the front of the bento section, closer to where the aisle opened toward the counter. Like she'd learned my position. Her chewing was faster that night, desperate enough that I could almost hear it. Wet, frantic mouth movements, even though there was nothing to chew. And this time I noticed her hands. Her fingers were curled, stiff. Her nails looked damaged, broken, dark under the tips, like she'd clawed at something hard for too long. My skin went cold. I didn't speak, I didn't move. I just watched from behind the counter, every instinct screaming to run. She stopped chewing again and tilted her head slightly, like she sensed my attention. And for a split second, in the reflection of the fridge glass behind her, I saw something that wasn't the store. A bathroom door, a latch, darkness beyond it. It was gone so fast I wasn't sure it happened. The reflection snapped back to bright aisles and packaged meals. Then the aisle light flickered, and she vanished again. The bento near her went sour instantly, like clockwork. The next day the truth found me the way bad news always does, through someone else's phone. A customer came in during the early hours scrolling through a news clip, volume low. I heard just enough words to make me look up. Woman found dead. Rental unit. Locked in bathroom. Starved. I walked around the counter without thinking and leaned toward the screen. The video showed a blurred photo, then an unblurred face from earlier pictures. Pretty. Familiar. The same woman who used to buy bentos every night. I felt my stomach turn over slowly, like it was trying to protect me from what my brain was doing. The report said she had been trapped, locked inside a bathroom, unable to get out. No food, no water. Days of hunger, until her body gave up. The clip didn't need details. The idea alone was enough. Suddenly, everything I'd seen made sense in the most horrifying way. She wasn't haunting the store to scare anyone. She wasn't there for revenge. She was repeating the last thing her body begged for: food. Her eating wasn't about the bentos. It was about hunger so deep it carved itself into whatever was left of her. That night, I stocked the bento fridge with shaking hands. I kept my eyes down. I didn't want the motion sensor to click. I didn't want to see her again. But around 2:30, the aisle light brightened. The temperature in the store dropped the way it does when a storm is coming. I looked up. She was there, crouched by the fridge, chewing air like it was the only thing she could reach. My throat burned. My eyes stung, not from fear this time, but something heavier, something like guilt, even though I hadn't known her. I remembered what the senior cashier told me: don't talk first. So I didn't talk to her, not directly. I just whispered, to the store, to the night, to the space between us, you don't have to be hungry anymore. Her chewing slowed. For the first time, it didn't stop like a switch. It softened, like the urgency drained out. She lifted her head slightly, not toward me, but toward the fridge glass, toward her own reflection maybe. The aisle light flickered once. When it stabilized, the aisle was empty. I waited for the sour smell. I waited for the bento nearest to her to rot. It didn't. The fridge hummed normally. Cold air rolled out clean, carrying only plastic and rice and soy sauce. For the first time in a week, nothing spoiled. I stayed at that job for a while after that, but I stopped taking the bento section for granted. Sometimes when the store is quiet and the lights buzz too loudly, I still glance at the aisle and half expect to see her crouch there, chewing at nothing. And every time I smell warm rice in a microwave at 3 a.m., part of me remembers the news clip and the locked bathroom door. Not because I want to, because once you learn what hunger can do to a person, you don't forget it. And once you see someone who didn't get to eat their last meal, you start wondering how many other people pass through your store, smiling politely, buying dinner, and going home to places that aren't safe.